Meantime, Vice President Kamala Harris is prepping for her first presidential debate against former President Donald Trump. This morning, her campaign released its fundraising totals for the month of August, pulling in $361 million, bringing her total cash on hand to $404 million. Harris's camp notes that many of the donations were from first-time donors, and more than 60% of the donors in the month of August were women. So, senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang is in Pittsburgh, where Harris will be preparing for the next week's debate. So let's start with these fundraising numbers. So she continues to be successful. She doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. But, you know, the campaign made it a point to break down who's donating for a reason. What can you tell us?
Yeah, great to be with you, Anne Marie. So you mentioned the top line figures, and let's also add in $615 million. That's how much the campaign says it has raised since Harris launched her candidacy. And you also talked about first-time donors. 1.3 million of the 3 million people who donated in August did it for the first time. And so why does that matter? Well, because that shows an enthusiasm for Harris and a willingness to take action. Hopefully, the campaign thinks that could turn into votes in November, because it's one thing to say that you support a candidate, but if you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, you're probably willing to go get up and vote when it's election day. And so they're hoping that enthusiasm translates. And they really point to this as a new surge of energy for the party that, frankly, Joe Biden was lacking as a candidate. So they think that, you know, the momentum hasn't stopped, and that this could, you know, put her over the line when it comes to winning in November. So I think the numbers tell a very important story, Anne Marie. The campaign also points out that the amount that they raised in August was more than double what Trump raised.
So let's talk a little bit about the number of Republicans, prominent Republicans, endorsing Kamala Harris. We saw Liz Cheney come out, but also during the DNC, there were Republicans who took the stage. And this is different. We've had other Democratic presidents who have included Republicans in their cabinet, but I can't recall so many Republicans coming out to endorse a candidate before the election. You know, is this a problem for Republicans? I don't know.
Well, I think it speaks to the change in the party, right? It's not just about, voting for or supporting Vice President Harris. It's really a rebuke of the former president, who has turned the Republican Party upside down since he launched his first campaign back in 2016. And so you're absolutely right. This is a historical shift that so many prominent Republicans are willing to publicly go against the party's nominee. But I will say it's not necessarily surprising when you look at the big names, especially Liz Cheney, who has, been very critical of Trump for years now. And so while it does have a lot of symbolism, again, it's not necessarily shocking. And I don't know how it would impact voters, because, you know, these are prominent Republicans. But again, the party has changed. There are so many different wings now. Yeah. And the people who support Donald Trump, hearing that Liz Cheney is not likely to change their minds.
Yeah, these are, to your point, these are Republicans that essentially were sort of pushed out of their positions by kind of this MAGA wing of the Republican Party. So maybe to Republicans who are on the fence, they may help to push them over to vote for a Democrat, but maybe those people were going to vote for a Democrat anyways, you know? Weijia Jiang, thank you very much. So we have full coverage of the first debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump on Tuesday, September 10th. It's hosted by ABC News, but you can watch the debate right here on CBS News 24/7. Pre-show coverage begins on America Decides at 5 p.m. Eastern.